This is a quick tutorial on how to make your own watermark, apply it to your photos, and then submit it to Schoology. So you are going to want to start by going to Photoshop and going to File, New. In the File, New settings, we are going to come over here and start naming it, our last name, watermark. This underscore is optional. We're going to make it 800 by 800 pixels at 300 pixels per inch. If we switch that over real quick, notice that's almost about 2.5 by 2.5 inches. So it's not like super small, but it's not really big. Another thing that you need to do is change your background content to black. A lot of watermarks are white, so we want to have our background as black so that we can see our watermark. When these are all set up, you are free to hit create. Now, watermarks usually consist of your name or your business name. If you're a personal photographer, you'll notice things that's really big, like Owen Photography or Owen Portraits. Some people often just do their first and last name. So this is something you'll have to kind of play around with. You'll also play around with what font you want it to be in. Of course, you'll want it to be readable so that the person looking at your images knows who took the photo, and also so that they don't steal the photo away from you. So kind of going through. Sometimes a really nice script is nice. I have way too many fonts and half of them are not usable. And I just realized the script I'm looking for doesn't exist on this computer. Yeah, it happens. So you can kind of take a look at that. You can then, change how the capital works, how this works in relation to the other, the other word. You can resize text using Command T. Now keep in mind, you're not to make something that looks exactly like mine. You want to make something that's your own. And then you're going to also want to add shapes. So in this one, I have the C and O together, kind of my initials. This one, I might want to add like a line or a stroke. So here's some shape tools that we haven't quite used yet. You can use those. Or you can use the polygon tool. I'm going to hold down Shift to get a straight line. Maybe I then use the paintbrush tool. It's not going to let me paint right now. Notice that I have this kind of dead thing here. That's because I'm on a text layer. So I'm going to create a new layer just for my shape here. Bam. So you're going to need text. You're also going to need a shape, again, of some sort. Another way to do that, actually, I just realized, if I Command T and then drag this along that way, maybe hold down Shift so that I can squish it, I can come in and take my eraser tool and erase it when I need to, instead of having to draw each line. Tips and tricks, right? So that's something you could do. You could play around with kind of drawing a picture, maybe even making a flower. Ooh, don't draw that, that's atrocious. Another thing you could do is you can reverse the outline. So I'm going to go over here to Owen, go to FX, go to Stroke, And I'm going to add a stroke. It's kind of blurry right now, but if I go here to fill and change that to 0%, you'll notice now that it just creates an outline. I can edit the stroke by double-clicking it and changing the size. Playing around with where things lay out. Maybe I want that Owen to be bigger again, so I hold down Command T. So you're wanting to fill up this kind of black space you have here. Notice that my watermarks are not really that large. When you're done with your watermarks, what you're going to do is you're actually going to hide the black background. When we add them to pictures, we aren't going to want that black background here. So I'm going to hide that. It creates this checkerboard effect, meaning that the background is now transparent. And we're going to file, save as, both of these watermarks. This is going to be one. We're actually going to save these as a Photoshop document. So we're going to hit save on that. File, save as, save on your computer. Photography 1. This is going to be a watermark number 2. Again, save it as a Photoshop document. Hit save. The next step is to apply these to photos that you own. So some of you might not have a bunch of photos on your computer. In fact, because this is my work computer, I'm not sure I have any photos of my own in here. So to get photos, I'm going to cheat, just like you could cheat. And I'm going to download some off Facebook. No, you can't add me to Facebook till you graduate. So, I'm going to grab this picture, options, download. You'll have to screenshot a Instagram photo if you're stealing it from there. Create new, okay, it's close. I'm actually going to open this. So I downloaded it, so it's in my downloads folder. Oh, I guess I had some photos in here. Here it is. Photo I took on the lake. And now we're going to insert our watermark. So to insert your watermarks on your photos, you're going to go to File, Place Embedded, go to your Documents, your Photography folder, and you're going to grab your watermark. So remember, a watermark is not always something that is very small on the side, though it could be. The size of it depends on how much of the photo that you want to preserve for yourself. If you're a stock photographer, you'll notice that a lot of people cover their photo with their logo. In fact, I'm pretty sure you've Googled images where the whole thing has that. A lot of more professional photographers will just fill up like a fourth of the image. Now this obviously is not a watermark yet. This is more like a logo. In fact, I could save this again and put this on my cover on Facebook. But to get the watermark, we're going to actually play around with these guys and the opacity. So where it says normal, this is where you have different blending modes that you could play with. Overlay is always a good one, soft light. I think overlay and soft light are usually probably your better bets. You could also just change the opacity to make it semi-see-through. You could also then combine things, these overlay effects. So let's say I'm going to hold down Option and drag to get a second version. But you could always kind of do multiple versions of your logo, especially if you really want to save your photo there. So how you do your watermark is really up to you. You just want to make sure you can see parts of the image through it. So we're going to File, Save As, save on your computer. We'll call this Copyright 1. This one we're going to save as a JPEG because we're going to submit it to Schoology. And then we're going to, those are actually professional photos done by someone else. You do not want to grab photos done by someone else. These are of me, so they're most likely taken by someone else. Here we go. Options, download, file, open. Now, if I was on my main computer, I'd have a lot more images that I could share with you. But we're going to File, Place Embedded. We're going to go to Documents, Photography 1. Let's grab our second watermark. We can make it bigger or smaller. We can change how it reacts to the image. We can change its transparency. Sometimes in watermarks, this is something that you might want to include. You might want to include your social media. If you are going to be an Instagram photographer, sometimes the @ and then your social media tag maybe is always something that you could do. You could even make your social media tag your main text in your watermark instead of your name. So there's a lot of different ways that you could do this. But your goal is to create 2 images with 2 different kinds of watermarks. Which I think I saved my watermark in the wrong place. Did I? Okay. I'm going to name this, watermark 1. File, Save As, just double checking. Always double check that you're saving things correctly. Documents, Photography 1. 2. I like to always go back into my folder itself and double check that I have both images. Once you have your 2 images, you're going to go to Schoology, and then you're going to answer the question that is posted on Schoology. It's going to ask you what type of copyright, Creative Commons, or would you put it in public domain? What kind of copyright law would you put your photos in? Creative Commons, full out copyright, or would you throw it in public domain? So answer that and why when you submit these 2 images to Schoology.